Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to talk about two services that we offer: consignments and consultations.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and this is our dealership, NG Supercars. And two of the services that we offer and that we commonly get some questions about are our consultations and our consignments. So I want to talk you through those. And yes, this is kind of like an ad for our own company, but you know what? We get these questions a lot, so I think this will be helpful to a lot of you. Also, it should help explain how we differentiate ourselves from some of the competitors and some of the things that you should maybe consider when doing these types of services from other companies if you're not working with us, because that's fine. We also still want you guys to be safe out there because the consignment world has a lot of fraud and a lot of crap going on, so that one's a little bit sketchy. So let's sit down, have a chat, and talk about these things. Oh, and real quick, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe, and check out normalguysupercar.com. That's where you can find our services, and ngsupercars.com, our parts, or excuse me, that's our dealership upstairs. I got all backed up. And if you're interested in any of the cars we have, or if you want to submit your car to us, go fill out the form on our website, ngsupercars.com. Okay, so the first service that we're going to talk about is our consultation service. And we actually kind of have two different forms of consultations. So the first one is a very basic hourly consultation. You pay by the hour. Now, the reason we did it this way is there are people who where they just want to ask some questions. They just have some concerns, and maybe they're learning about buying the Ferrari for the first time or something like that, and they just need a phone call. So that's 99% of the time, it's just a phone call. A lot of people will also have emails and maybe even text messages. Sometimes there'll be follow-ups. So some questions we get is like, can I break it up into more than one phone call? Absolutely. Also, another quick follow-up to that is we charge by the hour. So I don't care if you spend 1 minute or 60 minutes, we're charging you for 60 minutes. And people are like, oh, that's unfair, I only need 50 minutes. No, no. That never happens. People say that and then it ends up taking an hour. It just doesn't work that way. And second of all, if I have to schedule my day around this call and all that stuff, it actually always is more. So like, you guys pay for an hour, we actually almost always do more than that if the call actually does go an hour, because we're usually doing some research, we're usually doing some prep work, some things like that. So the most common typical scenario for the hourly consultation is someone says, hey, I'm thinking about buying one of these cars and I want to discuss them with you. Okay, so we say, great, we schedule a time, you'll pay for it on the website, normalguysupercar.com. Rachel will set up a time that works for either Josh or I. In the meantime, have you send us any links or VIN numbers or pictures or whatever information you have about the car or cars of interest, and we'll do some research before the call. So that's usually what happens. Someone says, okay, I'm looking at these 1 or 2 or 3 cars or whatever. They buy the consultation service. Rachel gets in touch with them. They send links to the cars. Rachel says, hey, can you do it on this day at this time? In the meantime, I get the links for the cars. I go research the cars, and that way I know what I'm talking about before we have a call. In that phone call, you end up asking whatever questions you may have. We most likely will end up discussing the car or cars of interest. We can discuss whatever you want. We can talk about whether or not they're good buys, if they're good values, what things to look for, should you buy a different car. You know, we've had consultation calls range broadly. So that's where, like, this is the most common scenario, but also there's a lot of variance to it. So some people are saying, hey, I'm trying to decide between a 458 and an F12. Some people are just really worried about like the maintenance of these cars. Tell me all the things I should look for, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We've even had people talk about other issues, so things that aren't necessarily like directly about buying or selling a car, so that's less common. Anyway, so that's kind of the basic consultation service. It's just hourly, pretty simple. It's pay as you go. The vast majority of the time it's 1 hour. Occasionally we've had 2 hours, but almost never. The second type of consultation we service is our all-inclusive buying assistance program, and that is a flat fee. So you pay one fee, and it includes all of the following things that we're going to talk about. If you start off with our hourly consultation and then say, you know what, I like this works out great, now I want you to do the full-bore all-inclusive service, we will credit the hourly consultation against our all-inclusive buying service. So we'll reduce the cost by that, because the all-inclusive buying service effectively still has the hourly hourly component built in as a part of it, because we're going to end up having that phone call. We're going to end up talking about the cars of interest. We're going to, like, it still includes all the same things plus a lot more. So what else does that typically include? And again, this also can vary a little bit, but the things that we're willing to do, first of all, we can negotiate on your behalf, and we usually say, if you're going to have us do the all-inclusive service, don't reach out to them first, because now if we reach out to them and you've reached out to them, now they think there's multiple people interested, and it can actually make it so we aren't as able to get as good a deal for you. So yes, we will reach out and try and negotiate and get the best deal we can for you, and we pass that on to you. There's two options when it comes to buying the car. One, you buy it directly from them, so we negotiate a price and then pass it on to you and say, here you go, that's the price that we got, and then you just kind of take over and say, oh, you know, whatever, we'll pass it off to you. The other option is you say, I want it to go through our dealership, NG Supercars, and we do that a lot. So people say, I don't want anyone else, I don't want the paperwork coming from anyone else, I don't have to deal with anyone else. Maybe you've got a trade-in that you want, we can do that. So that's one option, is then if you have a trade-in and someone's got a private party sale, well, now we will actually consider that trade-in, and you can actually make that happen. Another situation is, oh, I'm trying to finance it and I can't finance it with a private party. Okay, well, it can come through us. And of course, some of them is just, I don't trust that dealership. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to see their paperwork, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to have to deal with that crap. So by coming through us, we are able to put it through the dealership and give you some comfort knowing that the paperwork's going to come through us, that we are a licensed dealership. So, you know, that makes it a little bit better for you. So we negotiate, we agree on a price, we will end up buying the car and selling it to you at whatever price that we negotiate. Depending on the situation, you may have to pay up front for that. Like if it's a car that we are not interested in buying, for example. So if some people are like, hey, I want you to help me buy this fill in the break with some random car that we really don't want in inventory, you're gonna have to pay us first because we don't want that car. In those situations, unless you're like doing financing, then you would pay the down payment, and then obviously the financing would come after the fact. And so in those situations, if you're doing that, we may have to charge you a bit more money because we now have to front the money for it. And so we're going to get charged some interest and some fees to use our floor plan to pay for your car temporarily. So it's not usually that much money, but it will cost more than the base rate for the all-inclusive program. That's the only kind of exception to the rule. We can also help with arranging transportation once the car is purchased. But the biggest thing that we do is that now if you're doing the all-inclusive buying assistance program, we will go out and look at the car and inspect it ourselves, just like as if we were buying the car for ourselves. So we have our own PPI system that we do for our own cars, and we do the exact same PPI system for your car. So you're getting comfort knowing that we will fly out, go look at the car, and give you our opinion on whether or not you should buy the car. So obviously we'll find out as much as we can given the constraints of where the car is located and so on and so on. Because sometimes the car is not on a lift, so we can't always get underneath the car. Sometimes they won't let us wrench on the car, so we can't remove the bottom panels. That's pretty common. Now that being said, we do use tools like borescopes, we have our computers, we have of course cameras. We usually end up taking anywhere from 1 to 300 plus pictures. You get access to all those pictures. You get a final report from us saying here's the PPI or whatever, here's our findings, here's the things that we think should be addressed, and ultimately sometimes that results in a better price, sometimes it doesn't. It really is situationally dependent. But ultimately, that consultation service, we pride ourselves on the fact that we've helped out a lot of people, and we think we've saved people way, way more money than that service usually costs. Now, that's also historically when cars were able to be negotiated on. Right now in the current market, honestly, a lot of the cars we can't negotiate on, or they're just not willing, so the price kind of is what it is, and you know, that's just how it is. If for some reason you signed up to say, hey, I want you to do the all-inclusive buying program, and then we start having a call or something, and then the car sells before we can make a deal or some situation, we'll refund you minus maybe an hourly consultation rate or something like that if we've already gotten started on it. If we haven't really gotten going, then we will refund you. Another situation that people ask us about, a really common question, is what happens when I'm interested in buying this car, you go out, you do your PPI, and the car sucks? do I get a refund? And the answer is no, because we've already spent money flying out there and a lot of time. Now, what that does mean is if you have us do another car, we reduce the rate of that second one substantially. So we can't just give this away for free. We have spent a ton of time. Like when we go out and fly out and look at a car, it can be 1 to 2 days of our time. So it's not like it's insignificant. Plus flights, plus hotels, plus rental cars, plus food, plus whatever we need to do to get that to happen. So usually we've already sunk anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 just on that service trying to make things happen. That's money that we don't get. That's just money we spent. So I hope that you can understand that. Now we have 100% guarantee on our services. If for some reason you're unhappy with what we've done on either of those consultations, we will refund you. This is super, 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 super rare. But there's been 1 or 2 people that complain that maybe we didn't do it perfectly or something. We're still human, and we refunded them. But it's really uncommon, and that's out of, I'm going to guess we've done anywhere from 300 to 500 consultations at this point. I don't know, because our old system is gone and we only have the new system. The new system already has probably 100 and something, and we haven't been using it that long. So we do a lot of these consultations. Okay, moving on to the next service that we offer that's really common is the consignment service. Now again, this is broken down into 2 different types of consignments. The first one, really simple consignment. You want us to consign your car, you get your car to us, we consign it while it's here in our shop. There's some advantages of that. It's going to be incidentally in videos. It's going to be in our vlog. It's going to be in the shop. It gives us more access to be able to do more content on it, more social media posts. And that's really the big thing that we do with our consignments is we can leverage our social media presence to your advantage. So you get all of the same power that we have after you building up this entire network of social media for almost a decade now. You get that as a part of the cost of your consignment. So that has a flat percentage fee. We don't charge anything up front. You pay for the shipping to get your car here. If it's not here, that's on you. If there's any services that are part of the negotiation to make the car sale happen, we will obviously deduct that from what you get out of the final sales price. Sometimes there's people who send their cars here, they tell us to do some stuff. We can just deduct it again from the cost of what we pay out to you. So in simple terms, you send your car to us, let's say it's $100,000 that we sell it for, we're going to charge a flat percentage of the final sales price minus any other fees that we might have because of work we did on the car or something. There's no other fees. Percentage is based on the sales price of the car. And we kind of do it like in kind of like a range, like 50,000 and below, 50 to 100 is kind of another percentage, 100 to 150 is another, maybe 150 to 250 is kind of another. You start getting like 300 plus, and it goes down. The higher the value of the car, the smaller percentage we take, because it gets to the point where it's like insane amounts of money to do a consignment. And again, you're utilizing our social media access, so you're getting some powerful advantages there. Now the second type of consignment is a remote consignment. So this does have an upfront fee, and it's a flat fee, and the reason is because we want you to have skin in the game, and we fly out and we go look at your car and inspect it, and we do basically our PPI service for whoever is the buyer. So even though we don't have a buyer at this point, we create the PPI, we create the inspection report, we take all the pictures we need, we take all the videos we need to do social media stuff, and then we come back home, we create the social media content, and we push the car out and we try and sell it. After the car sells, we take a commission as well, but it's a much lower fee because you've already given us our upfront fee to cover our cost of getting there and doing the PPI service and so on. So you end up usually getting a better deal, and it's kind of a win-win because you can keep your car at home, you keep your car and your insurance. By the way, keep your car insurance on for either of these, just so you know. Your car insurance will not have any issues because your car is at home. You keep your title. By the way, you keep your title either way until we have a deal to sell the car. So we're not one of those where we ask for the title up front. In fact, if you're trying to consign a car and they say, oh, we need the title in order to consign the car, run away. No, they don't. They do not need a copy of it. They do not need the title in their possession. You keep your title until the car is ready to sell. Don't ever let that title out of your possession. But anyway, I digress. So once the car sells, we take a smaller percentage commission, and we will obviously work with you and the buyer to arrange transportation to get the car and so on. Now, questions we get on that is what happens if someone wants to come do a test drive? That's up to you at that point. So if you're doing a remote consignment, it's up to you. If you want someone to come to your house and do a test drive, you can. If you say, nope, I don't want anyone coming to my house, we'll just say, sorry, this car is not available for test drives. And if that means someone walks away, well, they walk away. I mean, it is what it is. But we've done some of these. They work out pretty well. Seems to be happy on both sides. Everyone likes it because they keep their car at home. We get to market the car for you, and you end up selling the car at, I think, a better rate than probably you would have gotten on your own. Now, obviously, one of the concerns is what happens if they want some work done to the car prior to getting access to it. That is a problem you might not be able to do. There are some drawbacks to the remote consignments. It does bring up some additional challenges, but I mean, it's not a perfect system, but it's a less risky system. So you keep the car in your possession until it sells, so that keeps it where you're able to be, I guess, a little bit more safe and sound. So I think it's the lowest risk for fraud, obviously. You might not get the best number as opposed to having it here in person, but you're still gonna get a pretty good number, and you're still gonna be able to leverage our social media stuff. So some common things about us versus other people. One, again, keep your title. We don't ask for your title until we have a sale. Second one is when we have a consignment car that we have a deal for, we end up buying the car from you immediately. So as soon as we get paid from the buyer, we buy the car from you and you're paid out, and therefore you don't have to worry about anything else. So usually that happens within a few days. Like the second we get their money, we're setting up a wire to send it to you and get you all set. If you have a lien, we can work with you to pay off your lien. Again, there might be an additional fee if you're consigning the car with us and you have a lien. It kind of depends. We'll also do that. We can pay it off, and then, you know, obviously once you get the title, you have to sign it over and send it to us. So there you have it. That's some common answers to questions we get and some explanation of the services we offer. Because there's a little bit of confusion of like, what do you know, how does this work? How do you do that? Well, hopefully I explained it as best I can. Obviously, I'm probably not explaining it perfectly, so if you have more questions, feel free to put it in the comments below, or you can always reach out to us and we can chat about it. But if you're interested in selling your car to us, the best way to do so is go to our website, ngsupercars.com, fill out the form, and let us know what you're trying to sell. Put in your VIN, pictures, miles, so on. So we're going to need that information anyway. If you're looking to buy a car and you want to buy it from us, and we don't have something that you want in inventory, get on our list. Go to ngsc.me/thelist. Give us all the information you can about what you're looking for. We'll add that to our list, and as soon as we have anything that's close to what you're looking for, whether it's off market or something we have in inventory, we reach out to you and say, hey, do you want this? And go from there. But that's it for this video. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Again, check out normalguysupercar.com. That's for our parts and services, which includes our consultation services, and ngsupercars.com, and that's also where you do our consignments. So dealership side versus parts and services side, two separate parts of the same business. But you guys are awesome. We'll see you in the next one. We're going to be doing a lot of cool car stuff. You're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.